Heard of SVB, Silicon Valley Bank? So there was a bank run on it, and I can provide the details, but basically the CEO, immediately after it collapsed and people lost money, he was in Hawaii, which like a few days later he was spotted in Hawaii.
Where every guilty person goes.
Well, yeah.
Why is that? Anyway.
Well, I don't know, but I bring it up. It happened a couple of years ago, but recently, I think the Department of Justice is thinking about bringing charges against some of these CEOs of these companies that have failed. And what's interesting about Silicon Valley Bank, and we'll watch a video with Senator Kennedy really going after him, is that this one was caused because it was caused by Twitter. Strangely enough, do you guys know what a bank run is?
When everybody goes and takes out their money at the same time.
They take all the money out, and then the bank's like, we don't actually have enough money to cover all of this. And then the FDIC will come in and shut them down and take over the bank and sell it to somebody and try to make everybody whole. But what happens is FDIC insurance only covers $250,000. And SVB Bank specialized in fintech, like tech companies, all, because it was Silicon Valley Bank. So a lot of tech companies used them. They had millions of dollars, and they panicked when someone posted on Twitter, "Hey, SVB Bank is in trouble," and then other people started posting it, and other people they all went to the bank, they made wire transfers, and the bank failed. But the CEO was blamed for not taking enough action and being careful with his money, and he may go to jail. I guess the question is, thinking about people that get away with stuff, right? Like they may or may not. I don't know if he caused this, right? Obviously, he made mistakes. But isn't it true that, what do you feel about, these CEOs and these people that just never go to jail for doing this stuff?
They think they're untouchable.
But they are.
But they're not.
But
anymore.
They are, right?
Not anymore.
Is this an insurance reference?
No, it's just the energy of the world. The truth's coming out, and no one's safe. If you're a bad guy,
free redacted.
It's a wrap.
I mean, when somebody not even robs, if somebody goes and takes a $500 television and is caught, they may go to prison.
100%.
Yeah.
But if they're a CEO, it's like, you're innovative.
Whoever off and
yeah. It's not right.
No.
Well, also,
we were just watching.
We just literally live in a society that looks at people beyond a certain threshold of income and money, and they're just like, you know what? They could do whatever they want.
Yeah, power needs to be redistributed. It should all be equal. There shouldn't be
people are using it for evil.
Because you are untouchable right now if you have that much power or that much money, and it's like, why does anybody even have that much power and money and influence?
I mean, there is the saying that there's no ethical billionaires, which people cry about online because they're like, but Rihanna,
Not Rihanna.
I know.
She's evil like the rest of them.
She got stolen from an island, though, so we got to cut her some slack. She was indoctrinated in.
It's her own fault.
For being stolen?
She was stolen?
Probably, or her parents stole her.
Where do you get this information? She was not stolen. This is way off
Didn't her
topic,
parents stole her, though? Or, how'd she even get here?
Kidnapped
she was,
or something?
She was underage.
She's Jamaican, right?
And
she's
then
from
there's
the
that
Barbados.
rumor that Jay-Z held her in a room until she signed a music contract.
Probably true.
Another billionaire?
My old soccer trainer went to school with her, and he told us the story about her. Yeah, she was like.
I mean, he could have been lying for attention.
She seems.
No, he's from the Barbados too. I don't think he would lie about that. That's so weird.
Oh, you're the old soccer coach lying about it?
This is a long shot, but this is my call to get Rihanna on the
we had
podcast.
trainers every other day.
Oh, yeah.
But
you played soccer for a long time.
You may not give us music, but at least set the story straight.
But people lost money, people lost jobs, the bank went out of business, and yet you have people. And I don't know that he broke the law. Like, honestly, he may not. I mean, I'm not saying that he broke the law, but I think people demand answers and nobody ever gets them. I mean, when's the last time a CEO went to prison?
Never. They never do.
I mean, I can't think of very many.
Diddy's a CEO,
Who?
but he went to prison for other stuff. Diddy, he's a CEO of his own record label.
We just watched his
P. Diddy.
documentary, and he paid a lot of people off.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he got away with everything for so long.
But
And
he has
did
money.
some twisted stuff.
Yeah,
He's not sitting in jail right now either.
No
He is-
shot. He's probably in his
he is-
house.
Yeah.
Just chilling.
he's in jail.
Is he in jail?
Yeah,
He didn't
he's
get out
still-
on bail?
No, they're not going to let him out.
So he's not out on bail.
No, he's been in jail for quite some time.
Well, he's not out on bail technically, but nobody's seen him.
I don't think he's in jail. It's just like Jeffrey Epstein. Like they said he killed himself in jail. No, he didn't. There's literally no way.
Another multimillionaire, billionaire?
Billionaire, probably.
Yeah.
For sure.
He's probably on his island.
Jeffrey Epstein?
He's probably still alive. And then they just can fake their death so people forget about him. Like,
Yeah. Yes. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
It's just a little ring of power, and if you're in it,
It's true.
although if you're going against it and they don't like you and
They-
crazy,
Yeah.
then
Mm-hmm.
I
they
don't
try to
know.
get blackmail on you so that you cooperate.
Cooperate.
yeah, could be dead. A lot of people could still be alive. We never know. Well, we probably will know soon, but
Allegedly.
I grew up around poverty, and I can tell you that you couldn't steal. I mean, people couldn't steal a box of cereal without probably going to jail. You know,
isn't that
if you're
crazy? Because you're only stealing when you're like that because you literally don't have the money to pay for it.
yeah, or
It's
you
a
were
different
dared.
type of
We're
crime.
harsher to the poor.
We are harsh.
Just penalizing them for being poor. Like, why are you poor? Here, pay this fine. You can't even afford it.
Yeah.
Because
It's
they want
true.
us to stay in line. It's all a game. Like they have
Yeah.
rules set up for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is not the type of person that we want to put in jail. I mean, you have a lot of money, so we want to put other people in jail.
But on that note, it's like that. I don't know. Like, did he do anything wrong? Because all banks are
You
the
don't
same.
know.
They don't really hold a bunch of money. They all have it tied up in securities because they're making interest on it. There's some,
Or loaning it out. Like,
oh, I was like when you get penalized for taking your 401k out earlier. Why? Because they
Yeah,
want
that's
you. They
weird.
want to keep your money so that they can be making money on it. Because
Yeah.
it's like they frame it so. Oh well, it's so you save your money and you don't take it out and you have it for retirement. Like nothing is actually for
No.
us.
No.
that's so true. And one thing that bothers me with 401ks is that when you do take it out, you pay taxes on it like it's income.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, do you know what a dividend is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like a stock dividend. So if you own 1,000 shares of stock and they pay 50 cents, you get $50. You get those dividends, right? But there are people who make millions and millions of dollars on dividends. Dividend tax is capped at 15%, while somebody who's earning $100,000 or $50,000 is paying like 25%. But if you have a 401k that's earning dividends, when you go to take that money out, you don't get that benefit. You just pay taxes on whatever you take out. So you're not even getting the benefit of that 15%.
It's all a scam.
It is a scam.
Why are you being penalized for taking out your own money? Is what I want to know. That's crazy.
10%, yeah. Plus you have to pay taxes on it. So you have to pay taxes and a 10% penalty for taking it out early. When you take it out on time, when you take it out when you're retired, you still have to pay taxes on it.
It's insane.
Probably
The
not.
deck's is stacked against poor people.
Everyone's
Stacked
poor if
against
you're not
all
rich.
of us.
Like, let's be real. If you don't got a billion
If
in
you're
the
not
bank,
the elite, I mean, I guess not everyone. There's people who are rich who aren't a part of it, but
So
it's not made for us.
you're familiar with overdraft fees. I think we've talked
Yeah.
about them before. $35 checking account, you overdraw for a cup of coffee is always used, but let's just say it's a cup of coffee. $2 overdrawn, you can pay a $35 fee. But if you have money in the bank, you'll get those fees refunded. If you don't, they are not going to refund your money. They may be like, well, I'll give you half or I'll do it this time. But if you have money in the bank, you don't pay those fees. It's everything, and this is why a lot of things are happening, like, new companies are popping up that are online only to be more consumer friendly, because it's like, because there's not a lot of regulation or laws, and I don't want to say one party more than other, but politically it's like we don't want regulation, we don't want rules, and the deck's stacked against people with no money, from banking to taxes, everything. But if you're rich, you can go off to Hawaii and
This is the same government that's like, we're in debt ourselves. We can't even pay it back. We're just like you. It's like, no.
Yeah, and clearly the bank can pay out all these people money, but they're not getting penalized for it, really. Like, but
And they just want to be bought off.
Well, the bank's gone. It got closed. So it was sold. Everything was sold to another bank. So it kind of exists, but not like it was. And that's what happens when the FDIC comes in. They basically take over everything and they sell it to the highest bidder. So another large bank took that and became even bigger. Anyways,
What do they take though? Just all the accounts?
All the deposits, all the accounts, all the customers. Some of the customers were willing to stay. All the loans and everything that were making money, all this stuff that was making money, they got to keep it. They take a little bit of risk, and they cover those deposits. Like FDIC insurance covers $250,000. The bank usually agrees to cover more than that. But they get all the customers. They basically they double in size overnight. In this video, we are going to, we talked about SVB. This is Senator Kennedy questioning the CEO of Silicon Valley Bank and of Signature Bank, which is another bank that failed right around the same time.
Senator Kennedy of Louisiana is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Mr. Becker, when interest rates go up, the price of government bonds, especially long-term, long-maturity government bonds, goes down, doesn't it?
Yes.
And you don't have to be Einstein's cousin to know that, do you?
No, you don't.
Okay. Now, your bank had 55% of its assets invested in government bonds, didn't it?
Roughly, yes.
And the Federal Reserve raised interest rates, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
And the value of your assets went down dramatically, didn't they?
Yes, it did.
Okay. And you didn't have hedges, did you?
Senator, as previously mentioned, the decision around hedges was made by our Asset Liability Committee.
Mr. Becker, you were the CEO of the bank. You didn't have hedges, did you?
Senator, there were hedges that were put in place, but I don't recall the details around when they were put in place. and
You're the
when they were taken.
CEO and you had 55% of your assets in government bonds, and you don't know whether you were hedged or not?
Senator, as previously mentioned, I don't have access to my SVB documents, so
Well,
I don't
I
the
know
details.
that, and I wasn't CEO. You weren't hedged. Now, if you'd bought those hedges, that would have cut into your profits, wouldn't it?
Senator, I don't know the details of the decisions that the team were evaluating. as
But
far
if you
as-
bought a hedge, the hedge cost money, and it would have decreased your profits, wouldn't it? Do hedges cost money?
Yes, they do.
And so if you bought hedges, you'd have less money, right?
Senator, it depends upon, yes, they would cost money, but it depends upon how the
And
hedges
if
were
you'd
structured.
made less money, that would have affected your bonus, wouldn't it?
Senator, our compensation was predominantly long-term in nature. And so I know there's been lots of discussions about compensation being short-term.
Mr. Becker, you made a really stupid bet that went bad, didn't you?
Senator,
And the taxpayers of America had to pick up the tab for your stupidity, didn't they?
Senator, there were a series of events, unprecedented events that occurred that led us to where we are today.
No, this wasn't unprecedented. This was bone deep, down to the marrow, stupid. You put all your eggs in one basket. You put all your eggs in one basket. And unless you were living on the International Space Station, you could see that interest rates were rising and you weren't hedged. Can you play the video for me? Mr. Shea, I want to ask you. Play it. That still looks like me.
Fortunately and/or unfortunately, yes. It does.
Don't take
Look,
this
the
all
only way
the way
we're going to do this thing is if we start a bank from scratch. From scratch? You gotta be kidding.
How in the world do you do that? Is there a book, How to Build a Bank for Dummies?
All we have to do is apply to 19 federal and state banking agencies.
Wouldn't it be easier just to go out and buy a bank?
We looked at that, but the prices are too expensive and we'd be stuck with all their legacy
So we
issues.
have to make our own mistakes. But then we'd have nobody to blame but ourselves. We'd have nobody to blame but ourselves. We'd have nobody to blame but ourselves.
That is the stupidest thing that I have ever heard. We're sick of the stank of the big mega banks, so we'll start one. It's absurd. What a terrible proposition, like convincing the world to eat kale. What possible fate will become of our bank other than to diminish and fail?
I happen to know for a fact that won't happen.
Seriously?
Why not? Because
We'll start signature.
Mr. Shea, you're in that video, aren't you?
Yes, I'm in that video.
And you showed that video to the public?
That video was designed as a morale boosting.
But did you show it to the public?
It was shown at the employee parties and shown for.
But did the public see it?
They may have seen that, yes.
And you were trying to invite people to take their hard-earned money and entrust it to you to spend it wisely, and you showed them this video?
That video had a positive impact on
Yeah, I can
employees
see your
and
bank went
colleagues
broke.
who enjoyed watching
Your bank went
and
broke.
participating.
How much time did you spend? You conducted pronoun seminars, didn't you? What's a pronoun seminar?
I introduced a seminar organized by 300 of my colleagues, just as I went to
Yeah, but
ping pong
tell me what it
tournaments.
is. You spent a lot of time doing pronoun seminars, lecturing people about how they ought to use the right pronoun, gender-neutral pronouns, didn't you?
I actually spent no time beyond introducing that
Well, I
seminar.
could show the seminars, but I won't do it.
I was.
What did that have?
Senator Kennedy, your time has expired. Senator Reed from Rhode Island.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Never
Chairman.
mind.
You know, that guy was just trying to
Oh my
live out
gosh.
his acting dream.
He's so
Yeah.
funny.
He's
Fuck,
like,
never mind.
they played that video to
They
boost
played the
employee
video.
morale.
And he's like, I'm going to be a star. Oh, my God.
In hindsight, it probably doesn't play back too well.
They're like,
Because he says,
"Guys,
I guarantee that the bank won't go broke. Like, yeah, and it did.
And it did.
that's some karma."
So, yeah, what do you guys think about it? So the first part, signature.
And then the pronoun seminar went out of nowhere.
So
like,
I think what he was saying was,
what?
you spent all your time doing pronoun seminars instead of
Like, he could have
managing
just
your
said
bank.
wasting time.
I mean, I think
mean,
that's what he was
wasting-
implying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But wasting time is more direct. We don't. Oh, my God. But I wanted to see more of that movie.
Yeah, I don't think that was supposed to be public.
Yeah,
I feel sorry for the
Wait,
people
how
in
did
it.
it get public?
That was pretty bad.
Well, they were playing it on YouTube, so at some point somebody put it out there.
Oh, an employee. They said, look
Probably.
at what we're
So
actually.
embarrassing.
They just
Yeah.
uploaded it. They're
They
just
don't like that employee.
oopsie. Well, there's everyone's acting career now.
Traitor.
Someone
Traitor
was
to
like,
America.
I need a demo reel so that I can go to Hollywood when this collapses.
Another thing, talking about, and this actually is earned wage access. It's like, have you ever heard of that? It's not. I don't think it's a term that most people would know, but it's like if you get a paycheck from a company, you can get your paycheck early for a fee. So you could get like, I want $500. I'll pay a $5 fee for that. Or if you get $100, maybe you pay a $5 fee. Like there's legislation, there's attempts to be legislation because at some point those fees get to where it's like you're paying more than you would if you got a loan and paid interest. But earned wage access, people who take these loans, statistically, 75% of them take out a new loan as soon as they get their next paycheck. So they're always basically behind once they start. So I've already borrowed from my next paycheck, and as soon as I get my next paycheck, I'm going to borrow again.
Because why should anybody be having to borrow that insignificant amount of money?
It's money that you've already earned,
This is
usually.
crazy.
Yeah, it's money that you've already earned that you haven't been paid yet. No?
Nobody should be living paycheck to paycheck simply like that. It's just absurd. If there's people out here having all of this money, like what is that? Remember when I posted that TikTok about that guy who had, how many cars? Do you remember? It was some absurd amount of, like $1 billion worth of cars or something. Like, what is going on here?
Oh,
And
yeah.
why would you have that
That's
many
like,
cars?
what's his name in Morton? He bought a building to put all of his cars in.
Give
had,
those
like,
cars
over
to people that don't have cars.
Those are nice cars.
Just saying.
Mm-hmm. And he could count it as charity, so tax write-off for him. Be like, oh, I'm still good.
This is true.
It's just what's the word for it?
Greed?
Greed. There we go. Don't know why I couldn't think of that. Clearly, I don't have a greed bone in my body.
That, but I was like, there's no way she couldn't think of that.
There's no way she couldn't think of greed. Well. So this episode of Capitalism Sucks is on a great start.
That is kind of what I don't know how I got us on this.
You started talking about the bank.
Well,
or
that's
how
true.
the CEO should go to jail.
Yeah, the CEO, him and others. There's another bank that failed around the same time. I mean, there's a potential that there's going to be charges brought against them. But I think it does lead into this idea
Do
that
these banks think they're going to get bailed out like the banks did in 2008?
I don't think any bank goes into it thinking they're just going to get out. And they didn't get bailed out.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they could have. Like less regulation brings in more problems. And regulation is expensive. It can be overwhelming and be costly for a bank, but also there needs to be some rules in place or banks will just go crazy. And banks and others, especially in financial services, though, you can get if you're not regulating and you're not paying attention to where the money is, then it can be a big problem. But I think what's more interesting is this idea of earned wage access, where 75% of people take out a new loan as soon as they get their paycheck, so they're always behind. Payday loans, where you're paying like 100% interest on a loan that you pay off probably when you get paid so that you can go take out another one. BNPL's not that bad, but there are people that have 10 or more BNPL loans at one time. They buy a TV, they buy this, they buy that. I mean, it's just like, and then credit card debt's at an all-time high. And who owns credit card debt, right? It's not the rich people, right? I'm just telling you, like, I think things are becoming more clear as far as like who's really winning in all this financial services. And I could tell you about a lot of companies that are new, that are online only, and credit unions or even community banks that really that are being very fair, but it's the deck is stacked against people that don't have any money. It's crazy. It is crazy.
Oh yeah, and then if your bank account ever gets closed, because when we moved here from Illinois, I had a bank that was only it was like a hometown bank, right? And it just, I don't know, I had like an overdraft of like $50 or something, right? But I couldn't just pay it online. You had to literally like mail it in or something. I don't know, just extra. And I basically forgot about it. And so now like it's hard for me to open up another bank account. Yeah. Over $50, that is crazy.
Yeah. It's called check systems.
What's that mean?
If you owe money, it's a system. I don't know if it's a company or not, but if you owe money to a bank for a checking account, they report it. And then when you go to open another account, those banks check systems. And they see that you owe money somewhere else, and they're not allowed, or they won't open you an account.
I do owe bank money, actually. SFQ.
You can go to a credit union.
$180.
And you might not be able to open another checking account at a regular bank.
I did.
They don't all check. And some of them don't care. Mm-hmm. But it's another thing. Like they kind of like make sure that if you overdraw, you can't just walk away from it. Yeah. So you got another bank account, like at a bank. Mm-hmm. At a community bank or a large bank?
What's SFQ? I don't know.
No, it's like a hometown bank.
What's it called?
SFQ.
I'm not familiar. But yeah, SFQ? Ends with a CU? That's a credit union. They don't check. So you can go to a credit union. If you owe money to a bank and you can't open another bank account, you can go to a credit union.
I thought the credit unions check too.
I think they have a different system.
It should just be like Walmart. Like Walmart just lets you return anything like without a receipt. If it's under $50, like I feel like if you banked with them for long enough and
I was at a Walmart where they actually were looking for the receipt for somebody, and the customer was getting frustrated because they were like, "I don't have the receipt."
The other thing that I think is really interesting is daily pay. I think it's a company, but it's just the idea that you get paid every day for what you do. So if you're an Uber driver, or if you deliver food, or whatever, at the end of the day, or even per trip, you get a little money. So you don't have to wait 2 weeks or whatever. Have you guys ever been Uber drivers or Grubhub or anything like that?
DoorDash.
Yeah, DoorDash.
You did DoorDash?
Yeah.
How'd you like that?
I was actually, when I was back home, I was making pretty good money.
You did it a lot then.
Yeah, I did. Well, I was doing lashes and that. Yeah, I was making pretty good money.
You did something too, right?
Yeah, Instacart and DoorDash.
But you didn't have a great experience.
For a little bit. Oh, yeah. Like, I just got my tax return from Instacart, and it put me at, like, barely $10,000. I'm like, oh, that is below poverty. God damn. Like, if I don't get a huge refund, I'm going to destroy the IRS. No, I'm kidding. We're filming. Maybe. So, like, it was, like, Instacart was, like, I couldn't imagine doing this forever. Like, it's fun, temporary, but, like, if it's your only source of income and the government's not helping you, it's frustrating as fudge. I don't know if we can curse.
Fudge is okay.
Okay. So, like, on Instacart, they at least let you see how much you're going to make with shopping trips. So I would always try to pick the ones that were the highest batches if there was, like, multiple. And then I try to, like, ignore anything below $15 unless that was the only thing available.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I switched to DoorDash. And the nice thing about DoorDash, they love giving you stuff because you're working for them. They love giving you a debit card for gas and food. They love giving you the little bags where they're just like, keep the food warm in this. But at the same time, you don't know how much you're making on DoorDash. Like, the highest I've made on DoorDash for a single order was $20. And then the lowest I saw was just $2.30. And that pays way less than Instacart.
My brother had an experience with one of those where he drove like 20 miles to deliver donuts to a guy who changed the tip after the delivery.
To $1?
Uh-huh.
I mean, if that happened to me, I would hope that person get a heart attack. You know, like all those donuts and you didn't tip, die.
You just imagine,
put a donut-shaped hole into your cardiac arrest.
20 miles out, there's this guy that's by himself in a house ordering a dozen donuts.
How do you know he was by himself? Do you like go in?
No, I don't know. I don't know all those I made all that up. I made that up. I made that part up. That's just what I imagine. Like,
you were just being supportive. You were just like, this is a lonely guy. He orders donuts for himself.
Was it only 1 dozen? I thought it was multiple.
I made that up too. It was multiple. I was just saying, like,
David, we're on the edge of our seats.
I was
because
exaggerating
of these lies.
the situation. No, it was multiple dozen, and it may or may not have been one guy. I don't know. I just think it's weird to be 20 miles out of town, ordering a bunch of donuts,
and only getting tipped $1,
and then changing the tip from $20 to $1.
Yeah,
20 miles for $20 is insane.
Well,
and even more insane for a $1 tip.
In Texas, 20 miles is pretty common. Like, that's a 20-minute drive.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I did DoorDash in a super small town.
Yeah.
So it was nice.
Here, 20 miles would be an hour. Let's cut this off for now. We might want to go check on those kiddos.
We have kids.